Okay, let's get started. The sound working okay? You can do a thumb up. Okay, all right, great. So hi everyone, this is Jerome from the group Be Resilient. Be Resilient is a space to cultivate resilience. As you may know, the synonym for resilience are robustness, endurance, resistance, elasticity, tenacity, adaptability, durability, rebound. Resilience is the ability of a system, population, or a species to absorb a disturbance, to reorganize, to maintain its functioning, and to use it to strengthen itself. So resilience can be applied to almost any process, organization, or system, as well as to humans and their needs. So we have created this group about a month ago and have about 200 members now. In this group, we cover different aspects of resilience that are food, water, energy, home and habitat, health and well-being, and economy and work by sharing information and solutions. So today is our first live with Olga Vita on immune resilience with superfoods and adaptogens. So we are here for about an hour. We'll do 25, 30 minutes of sharing, taking your questions. So welcome everyone and welcome Olga.
Unmuted. Hello, everybody. Some familiar faces. So today I will talk not only about food, even if it's super. I will talk about a lot of different life hacks and ideas on how to be stronger than what life throws at us. And can you go to their slide with their main points? So I will first introduce something that I call vitality pillars, so that you understand my language, because this is the language I developed to address pretty much anything. Anything that I don't like, I look through the prism of these pillars. Then I will do a very, very short overview of immune system and the idea of the stress. I'll touch for a few seconds on the issues of mask soaps and disinfectants. And then we will go into the real meat of the presentation on everything that we can do or don't do so that we are the strongest possible and we work optimally and the most resilient beings. And all the slides, and not only the slides, but also some that we couldn't fit into this timeline will be available after the presentation. If you email me at vitaolga7@gmail.com, I will send you this shorter version of the presentation that we're going to use, but I also have the longer version with the full lists of all the adaptogens, herbs, essential oils, supplements. Some of them you maybe never heard of before, and some just, a nice reminder if you already know about them. So all these resources will be available to you on request. And now let's dive in and start. So what are these three vitality pillars? It doesn't matter if we talk about body, mind, or spirit. There are some things that are obstacles on the manifestation of the best of that aspect. So something that is too much that we don't need, I call toxicity. Yeah, so something that will be better off without. The opposite of that I call deficiency, when we are lacking something. Like we need to build a strong body, but we don't have quality building bricks, right? So it's very difficult. So our immune system has requirements. It has requirements of energy, and all the junk and stress and inflammation, robs the energy. So when something is too much, it cannot function well. And again, it has requirements of certain substances or rest or some other things that are essential. And then The number 3 pillar is their slowed down or interrupted flow. So movement on the universal level or on the cellular level is life, and stagnation is death or disease at least. So we'll want to address that as well. So it doesn't matter if we talk about our bodies that can be deficient in nutrients or toxic with some junk, or, you know, constipated, or, you know, we can have toxic thoughts or emotions that we need to release, or we can have deficiency of self-love or knowledge, or, you know, we can have stagnation in their programming ourselves. You know, maybe we're living the programs of the grandmothers that maybe not applicable to us. So in any case, on this slide, you will see the little fish that is jumping out of the, you know, the dirty water. That's a metaphor for us, because our cells, when they are, you know, dirty and sick, they require fresh water and good environment. They don't need more drugs, right? Not to supplement on top of what was already going not so good. Okay, let's go to the next one. So how we apply these 3 pillars to the immune system. So our immune system is very complex, has a lot of organs and systems tied together. So if we create stress and inflammation, we are very porous, and a lot of problems come to much deeper level than they should. So we have the leaky gut, leaky skin, leaky brain, leaky lungs that allow a lot of pathogens, a lot of stressors to come on a deeper level. So today we will learn how to restore that, how to protect. Also, deficiencies are created by deficient food or deficient light even, you know, because we need the full spectrum sunlight, and most of us live indoors with junk light. And again, you know, if we are not moving around, like now I'm sitting on the ball instead of the chair, so can move around a little bit even during the talk. Or if we are not having bowel movement after every meal, we're constipated, right? So there are a lot of tools how to address that. So the solutions on the other side are very logical. When you discover the problem, you just do the opposite, right? So if you have too much of something, you let go. You stop the inflow and, you know, get it out. If you don't have enough of something, you nourish yourself. You bring this needed stuff in. And when you discovered some areas of stagnation, you recreate the flow. Okay, next one. So when we talk about the immune resiliency, a lot of times people ask me, so how can I boost my immune? How can I activate it and, you know, make it go, you know, stronger? I usually say, are you sure you want to have the maximum? Because it can go into toxicity level of too much. Because overactive immune system can manifest itself as allergy of autoimmune diseases. But you also don't want underactive, right? So when it's not enough, when there is a deficiency of response, then you, you know, have deficiency diseases. You know, it can be, you know, cancer, or you're vulnerable in front of pathogens like, you know, mold and virus and bacteria. So you want to be optimal, and it's a universal rule that applies for pretty much anything in our life. You probably heard, use it or lose it. Yeah. So if you don't use your muscle, the muscles go away. There is atrophy. If you're on your hospital bed, or you go, you know, to outer space. By the way, you know, Russian cosmonauts noticed that they all come back with osteoporosis because there is no need to, you know, go up and have strong bones. So they start to lose bones. So anything you don't use, you lose. You need the optimum stress just on the peak of their, what is called hormesis, you know, the good stress. So with that in mind, we are not going to stimulate our immune system. We are going to support our immune system to do exactly what it knows how to do. We don't need to teach it. We just need to stop sabotaging it and help a little bit. Okay, let's go back. I cannot avoid the current situation and just very, very briefly give my opinion about hand washing, disinfectants, and face masks. So hand washing is best done with soap because soap actually dissolves the particles in virus, and it's very easy to wash it off. So you don't need any special substances to do that. Normal soap is the best. And please do not use all this isopropyl, rubbing alcohol, all this disinfectant, antibacterial stuff that actually ruins your immune resilience and leaves you toxic and sick. So being overprotective actually backfires. In hospital trials, when staff was using disinfectants, actually the infection rate was going up, not down. But 4-minute soap washing between exams was the best protection. So with the face masks, it's, there are pluses and minuses, right? So if you already kind of sniffed a little bit of, or you have something on your face and the virus can be already there when you put the mask on. So the mask will create a breeding ground that will increase your chance of actually, being infected, and you become more vulnerable. But of course, some people like to touch their, eyes and faces and noses all the time. So, that can be just the physical barrier. And also, if the person is sick and he's sneezing around, it's nice that he is wearing or she is wearing the mask. So for disinfectants, again, antibacterial things are not going to help, but what is going to help, like I want you to pay attention to the first line, especially the HOCl. That is something that you can spray on yourself. You can spray inside your nose and mouth. Even it's the acid that is not going to harm your good bacteria and virus. By the way, a lot of viruses are protecting us. Out of all the hundreds that are discovered, only 263 are infecting humans. The rest are protecting humans by infecting bacteria and keeping them in check. Just wanted to throw it in. And then, the Clorox based and, the blah, 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 the hydrogen peroxide and the high alcohol content. Okay, let's go forward. This is the slide where I outline all my suggestions that I'm going to cover today. So first of all, what not to do, like how to do your detox, right? So be mindful about junk anything, junk food, junk light, junk electricity, junk information, junk relationship, whatever that is too much, that is not serving you right now, just try to get the inflow down. And then we're going to talk about everything that we want to add. So most of the time today we will spend on that, on how to nourish your immune system. So we'll talk about the real food, including superfoods, the herbs, including adaptogens, different herb spices that are shown to be protective. Unfortunately, we don't have time to discuss all of them, but I can send the list, and if anybody would like to talk more about it, we can organize another event or do a one-on-one consultation. So then we will talk about fasting, sleep, hydration, sun with its vitamin D and everything else that we need. We'll talk about the very simple hack using salt that is very multifunctional. And also we'll talk about the mental and emotional well-being. Okay, let's go forward. So there are a lot of different detoxes you can do, and not eating for long period of time during the day. Let's say, you know, some people can just divide it half and half, and you know, don't eat for 12 hours and have their 12-hour feeding window, and then, you know, try to close this window, you know, make it more and more narrow into 10-hour and then 8-hour feeding window. That would be called intermittent fasting. That is helping us to have extra energy for repair, for immune resiliency, for autophagy, and for a lot of beautiful processes. Same goes for sweating. Every time you sweat, your kidneys are on vacation because your skin throws out the same toxins that the kidneys do. So they have time to regenerate and become stronger and make your blood stronger and cleaner. So you can do a lot of different cleanses. Now is a good time to do colon cleanse, liver flush, and all the other like parasite flushes that I specialize in. You know, again, it's no time to talk about it much, but I want to challenge you to do one of the two detoxes. Either go for house detox, when you do not use anything antibacterial and nothing that has you know, scents, aromas, perfumes, and like laundry, fabric softeners, and like all this toxic stuff. Or you can try digital detox. So the challenge is to do not look at any screens 1 hour before and 1 hour after going to bed. So that's like fasting, but digital fasting. That is essential for our brain regeneration. And try to do the default setting for your phones as an airplane, and for your Wi-Fi is off. So you turn it on only when you need it, not you know, being stressed and swimming in this electromagnetic dirty electricity pollution. Okay, let's go back forward. So now we're going into the food. So what kind of food should we eat to be our strongest, to be resilient? So it's all about nutrient-rich food. So my idea of superfood is not something exotic and fancy and you know, that, you know, is very fashionable. My idea that the super in the food is all about nutrient density. I will talk more about it. Also, all the flavors, all the colors show us medicinal properties. We don't even need to know about it, but if you eat the whole rainbow of taste, the whole rainbow of colors, of flavors, you are covered. You know, your body will know how to extract it, what to do. If you chew it very well, if it's not processed, just go for it. I would pay special attention to the very important parts like good fats, especially saturated fats are needed for good functioning immune system, and the animal-based omega-3s, that DHA and EPA that, you know, we can make from plant sources, but usually we are not very efficient in doing that and create a lot of deficiencies. So without them, we cannot absorb the vitamins that are fat soluble, that vitamin A and E and D. So vitamin D, you know, would need to go with a little bit of K, of course, and vitamin A, never supplement, just eat it from the real sources. And unfortunately, vitamin A is not available in plant based products. It's available only from animals. But again, we can take carotenoids, and if your liver is very strong and very clean, you can convert the beta carotenes into vitamin A. So a lot of mushrooms are very important. I would go for all the bee products. I sometimes mix them in one spoon and just take it as tasty supplements with royal jelly and bee pollen and propolis and honey all mixed together. And, you know, we'll talk more about adaptogens a little bit later on. Now let's look at the formula. Can you go forward? Yeah. I was talking about the nutritional density. So what is nutritional density? It's a ratio between macronutrients, the calories. So what are the 3 macronutrients? It's carbohydrate, it's fat, and it's protein, right? So everything else, all the flavonoids, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, all the things that we don't know yet, all the little guys that are essential for our life and immune resilience is I would call them micronutrients. So the more micronutrients per calorie we have, the more super the food is. And you don't have to get the special food that is already nutrient dense. You can actually create superfood in your kitchen using what I call the 3 magic tricks. So let's go one more forward. So right in your kitchen, if you separate fiber from, oh, can you go back one? Yeah. Separate the fiber from the liquid that is called juicing, we will get a much more concentrated micronutrients. And we can drink a glass of juice instead of eating 2-3 kilos of produce, which is much easier, right? And we get all the nutrients from there. I'm not saying that fiber is not needed, because fiber is one of the essential things for our bacteria inside. You know, it's the prebiotic for our flora, which is a probiotic. So speaking of probiotic, that is everything fermented. So when you make your sauerkraut in your own kitchen, which is as easy as just chop, salt, massage, and submerge, and just wait a day or two, you know, right in the jar, right in your kitchen, you will create much more probiotics than any expensive pills and capsules can give you. So it's much cheaper and much more effective. Any kind of raw ferments, better homemade, but you know, for some reason you cannot do, then you know, you can buy, and there are a lot of people who would do it for you. It's very, very important. And the third trick is sprouting. So all seeds and grains and nuts have a lot of lectins, a lot of nutrients on their surface especially. And when you ferment and sprout, you neutralize toxicity and you open up all their beauty and you make them super. So these 3 little things can go a very long way to making you stronger. Okay, let's go forward. Now, what is adaptogen? So I would call it a new food group, because that is something that you can eat and drink all the time with no fear, because by definition, they're tonics, meaning that they are not specific and not toxic. So you don't really need the doctor's prescription. These are very safe herbs most of the time, if you don't, you know, play with them and don't process them with some toxic chemicals. So what do they do? The name is a hint. They help us to adapt to any stress, be it physical stress, biological stress. So what is physical stress? It's like extreme temperatures. In Russia, if you want to go to the polar circles, you know, or work in the cold mines, you better have your soup or tea with adaptogens. All the cosmonauts, all the Russian Olympic team, you know, had the secret formulas because it helps you physically. But it's also important for your mental focus. If you want a high quality decision making, like when I work with executives who are wired and tired, and or with exhausted, you know, moms who still need to perform and, you know, do some work. Adaptogens a lot of times is our, you know, the secret ingredient in all the protocol, because it will help you to stay calm yet very focused. So your mental stress will not affect you as much. You will be adapted to that. So same with emotions. So any kind of stressors, environmental, biological, chemical, anything, adaptogens can be very helpful. So we are not having much time to talk about all of them, but I usually suggest making a lot of beautiful things with them. Like I will show you, this is, you know, a bunch of different adaptogens all together. This is my pesto that is made with, you know, adaptogens and superfoods. I'm making chocolate paste that is delicious and, you know, full of adaptogens as well. So, you know, this is the honey infusion that is also, you know, instead of just using plain water, why not drink herbal tea? Instead of just having, you know, honey, why not having honey infused, vinegar infused, even wine and vodka can be infused because some of the medicinal properties need to go in alcohol. Then you can evaporate it if you don't need. Okay, let's go forward. So there are a lot of different foods, you know, the dips, you know, the cheeses, the mousses, you know, the whole rainbow of adaptogenic kombuchas, and, you know, we can go on and on. Okay, let's go forward. Hydration. A lot of people say, oh, I don't drink enough water, that's why I'm dehydrated. Guess what? A lot of us now drink too much water, not enough. You just drink the empty filtered water that doesn't have life, doesn't have ability to flow because it's lacking minerals. So if you are stuck with only filtered drinking water, you know, a pinch of salt and adding something live like, you know, a slice of lemon or a little bit of kombucha or some juice can help to revive it and make it much more hydrating. Another trick is to eat your water. So every time you eat your greens, you eat your fruit and vegetables, something that is water rich is actually live water that is very hydrating. And another thing is movement. You know, just moving every 15 minutes is essential for the hydraulic system around our body, because we, this way, you know, get the hydration rates much higher than without moving, because we have a special tissue that was, you know, discovered not long ago that is very revolutionary, that we actually have this you know, special jelly type water going through us, and that even helps to propel blood in the tissues and the smallest capillaries, but only if we move around. So that's essential. So if you do not pee every 2 or 3 hours, if you have very strong color of your urine, usually it means that you need to hydrate. Just go for quality, not quantity. Okay. So one of the tricks on how to protect yourself from viral infection, even without coronavirus, just when it's a season of colds and flu, the normal ones. In the morning, instead of using the mouthwash, use a salt rinse, and use the salt water to gargle. That will also help to activate all important vagal nerve. So this is something that is, I would consider 2-in-1, you know, for the immune system. Okay. Sleep is very important. You know, some of us sacrifice sleep for whatever reasons, for a job, or, you know, staying up late to do something pleasurable or informative or something else. Other people cannot fall asleep. So in both cases, we are missing out on one of the most important secrets of strong immune system, and cannot function in our like full capacity. So If you can avoid alarms, please try to stay away from them, because they are actually hurting our brains and the rhythm. Try to go for their most natural mattresses without metal, and don't use all this horrible synthetic detergents that you inhale and absorb through your skin all night long. And for God's sake, don't take phone to your bed, just separate for at least at nighttime. Just don't charge it next to you. Don't look at it the first and last moments of your waking life. Just allow your body and your brain to regenerate. Okay. Also, it's very, very important to have the full sunlight. Best if you expose yourself to the sunlight in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, because there are different wavelengths that all of them are very necessary, not just for our eyes, but for our skin, for endocrine system. Actually, that's why if you are stuck in the place with the LED lighting or fluorescent lighting, all this, the horrible new energy saving invention that actually deprive you of energy, because they destroy your mitochondria that make your energy. I would save my energy any day of the week over very questionable savings with these horrible things that I call the junk light. So same goes with the fresh air. You need to, even if you live in a very polluted area, it's still worse indoors most of the time. So try to get outside for some sun and air, and ideally, if you cannot go barefoot and touch the ground, at least touch a tree that grows in the ground. I usually suggest my clients, just joke about it, just pretend that you really, really need to check some messages, and you just, lean one of your hands on the tree and just stay there. We need to create this flow that takes our anxiety, our toxins out, everything that is inflammatory in us usually are positively charged, and the earth is kind of the negatively charged magnet that creates the flow and helps us to be more resilient, and it's a great anti-inflammatory. Same goes for movement. Okay, let's go back forward. Okay, and when it comes to protecting yourself from the virus, I usually say that we are using a misnomer. We don't need social distancing, we need physical distancing. But socially, it's actually more important to connect when you cannot connect physically. It's always important, but now I would say more than ever. So don't practice social distancing. Really connect with yourself and with people that nourish you, and don't treat it as something that is not important. It's a huge part of the immune strength that affects your mood, affects all the functions in your body. So gratitude journal, or just journal in general, and connecting with other people is very, very helpful for immune system. Okay, so we just jumped through everything, and I want to introduce you, can we go one forward? Introduce you to my favorite learning system. So try to think about everything we talk about and see if anything touched you intellectually. I call it the first H, the head. Is it something interesting that maybe you want to explore, maybe you want to, understand better? Did it resonate with you? You said, oh yeah, this is something that I feel that is good for me, right? So I call it the heart, the feeling, the emotion. So if you come across information that touches your head and your heart, then it's very important to transfer it to your hand, put it in action, like really do it, try it out. because it's not important to know about something or feel good about something new if you don't test it and don't see if it's really something that you want to implement. So implementation action plan is super important. And if you have good results, I think it's quite natural for us to share. I don't know about you, but I learned the best by sharing and teaching what worked for me, what I learned that is interesting. So I encourage you to do the same. So now we'll go to the next slide, where I gave the summary of everything we talk about. And please think about this 4 H's: the head, the heart, the hand, and health. And see if any of the tips spoke to you. And see if maybe there is 1 or 2 that you want to try out, through this 4H systems. So, and if so, and if you need some more help, I'm there for you. So if you need to, get references behind what I was talking about, if you need to have the list of herbs that are good for immune system or essential oils and supplements, please let me know. And can we show the email again? So please write to me and ask for their PowerPoint presentations and for their PDFs with all this immune relevant information and about their vitality pillars, how to put it in practice, like some practical tips. Okay, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga, for sharing. So I'll stop the slides here and maybe take some questions. Maybe B, any questions?
So is it necessary to take the supplement?
Well, I would say that there is a big misunderstanding about the whole concept of supplementation. So some people use supplements as substitutes. What I mean is that they think that they can have deficient junk food, don't sleep at night, don't move, and they just do everything as usual and just pop some pills. And then, there's a magic bullet. So if you talk about substitutes, then my answer is no. But if you are already having a very solid foundation with a lifestyle that is great and you need extra support, then my answer is yes. A lot of times it is necessary to take supplements because we have individual strengths and weaknesses. So some weaknesses require supplementation, and some of them, if they are not whole plant supplements, I treat as drugs. So we would correct some deficiency, we would jumpstart some systems that didn't work before properly, and then we kind of wean off them. But there are actually a lot of supplements that are great as the maintenance and support, because our great-grandfathers didn't have to think much. Everything was organic, everything was nutritionally rich. Now all the stressors are up and all the nutrition is down. So we have a double jeopardy. And because of that, we kind of have to think much more than our grandparents did. And, that's why I was talking about the upgrading and thinking like, okay, if the recipe is asking for water, let's do the upgrade and supplement it and make with the broth, vegetable or bone broth. If you make a smoothie, instead of using ice and water, why not use coconut water and the ice cube that you froze with some adaptogenic gin tonic or with some juice before, or even just frozen berry. So there are a lot of things that are not exactly supplements, but they are upgrades that help you to overcome this toxicity up and nutrition down situation that we're currently experiencing. Did it answer your question?
Yes, and you said that different people need different things, and some may lack of something and some may have too much of something. So how would you recommend us to go through the assessment process to know what we lack and what we have too much?
Well, if you are talking about nutrients, I wouldn't worry about assessments and tests and expensive analysis until you get the basics down. So, there are a lot of expensive tests that I recommend, but I wouldn't start with them, because most of us can correct most of the deficiencies that this test will find, even without knowing that something is wrong, because we have all the mechanisms built in. So the easiest thing in the world, I call it eat food, not product. So what I mean by that, food is something that doesn't require a label, doesn't have all the numbers and packaging. Ideally, it's something that grew right next to you. So if you got something off the vine, straight from the ground where you live, it's still pulsating and vibrating with beautiful bioenergy, and all their nutrients are intact. So you're getting the full force of that. And then, little by little, we go less. So with the storage, transportation, processing, food starts to become a product. So it's not black and white. This is food and this is product. It's kind of like a scale. And on the scale, you can always choose something up, right? Something better than something else. Because maybe you don't have a kitchen garden in your backyard. Oh, maybe you have neighbors who do, or farmers market, or you can order a box, or whatever, or you can find a health food store. So there are degrees of the dense nutrient options. So that is something that I call eating food, not product. That is universal. So before you test for nutritional deficiencies, make sure that you are doing your best. The second part of doing your best is to eat the rainbow, the variety. As I mentioned, every color has something unique that others don't have, right? Every flavor, every taste, every spice, every herb. So I usually create mixes, like this is a mix of seeds, with chia and nigella and poppy and the cannabis and a lot of seeds. There are a lot of spices also that I mix together. Instead of opening and closing 30 different jars, I create a smoothie mix. I create my chocolate mousse mix or something like that, and then I just use it up. So every time you do the variety, the rainbow, your base becomes more solid. So after you've done all that, and when you make sure that you can absorb everything you get, that you don't get a leaky gut. How do you know if you have a leaky gut or not? Do you have any allergies? Do you have constipation? Do you have gas and bloating? So these are all signs of a leaky gut. So before you go and test your deficiencies, make sure that you eat food and you can actually absorb it, right? So you have the leaky gut. After you are good there and you feel confident that you've done everything you can, then if something is bothering you, you can go and check it out. You can check for food intolerances, for sensitivities. Like my favorite is Cyrex Lab. that will test your immune system and sensitivities, and sometimes you don't react to things that are bad for you right away. So it's nice to run tests like that. You can do the nutritional panel and see which nutrients are not absorbed right. So then you can decide how to increase absorption, help you with all the mechanisms. And sometimes it's mutations, we have SNPs that prevent you. Then you just need to supplement most of the time until you develop much stronger mechanisms to get it from food and convert it the way you should.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone here?
Yes.
Okay.
Olga? Yeah. You have behind you beautiful drinks. I don't know, it's honey or vinegar, but you said there is some benefits to infuse them. Can you explain quickly how you do that? And what are the benefits? I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, Ellen. So anything fermented becomes safer and more medicinal. So any kind of herb, any kind of spice that you use, if you infuse it into a vinegar, for example, my kombucha, I usually allow it to become very sour, so that I cannot drink it straight. So it's more like vinegar than a drink. And then it becomes the media for infusions. So I would put the pieces of herbs. It can be, anything you like, even for the normal second fermentation kombucha, I do the infusions. That is, adding some of this vinegar to the new sugary media, new maybe adaptogenic gin tonic tea, and then put a stick of cinnamon.
What do you mean by infusion?
Well, infusion is just something that you put inside the liquid and let it sit there.
Okay.
So it can be a hot infusion, which we call tea, or it can be cold infusion, which just sits there in the normal temperature.
Okay.
So an infusion can be done into different media. It can be just into the water. People make sun tea by just placing some herbs or flowers in a jar with the water and just let it sit in the sun. It's already infusion. Or you can infuse it in vinegar, then everything becomes fermented and open up and become much more bioavailable. You can put any very dry hard material in honey, for example, and then little by little the honey will absorb the medicine and the taste. So in this particular case, this is infusion of Schisandra, eleutherocoque, and krachai dam. So there is this stick of eleutherocoque, we call it Siberian ginseng. There is Thai black ginger, the krachai dam, they call it Thai ginseng. And there are berries. These are the Chinese berries. They call them the 5 taste berries, Schisandra. So it's a very well-rounded adaptogen. So, and after a while, and I just put it because I like their taste and flavor combination. You can create your own. So there are good books about adaptogens, like this one is probably the best. And there is another one that it's like encyclopedia. And that is something that I will be sending out through emails as well, with the ideas of how to make mixes, how to make all these recipes, because I don't like the exact recipes, I really like quoting Bill Mollison on the recipe idea. He said, "Oh, I love recipe books. They're great for mulching." So I'm with him that the best recipe is just to look around to see what is out there, and then create something out what is the best, the freshest, the most desirable, because it should be also fun. I always say that health without happiness is pointless. It's all about health and happiness and having fun and enjoying. Food is a huge part of our pleasure. So there is no need to rob ourselves and sacrifice for immune function, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else with a question? We have a few minutes left, so maybe with one question probably.
So if anybody wants to upgrade their food but don't know how to start, where do you recommend them to go? To see?
Well, I recommend looking at your options. Where do you usually shop?
You mean me?
Mm-hmm.
The market.
The market. So in the market, there are some things that are local and there are some things that are imported, right? You can ask people where the produce comes from. Even if they don't have organic options, at least they have the freshest options, right? So something that is grown with pride, and you look the person in the eye and you talk about it, you have more confidence in buying it, right? So that would be one of the options for the upgrade. And then don't let it sit in your fridge for a week. Buy what you actually want to eat now, and try to get the most nutrients, because nutrients go down with time. So, and then if you in season, you can freeze it, you can juice it, and then freeze the juice. And by the way, after juicing, because most of the greens and vegetables, it makes a great base for the broth. You can put all the things after juicing, like all the dry leftovers, in the pot, add a little bit of water, and just simmer it. So you will create a mineral-rich broth that you can use later on, either for cooking or for base for smoothies. You can freeze some of it. So that is the way to upgrade. And then you can ferment it, or with the seeds and legumes, you can sprout them. It will increase, like, for example, eating sunflower seed versus sunflower sprout, the difference in nutrition is 40 times. So eating this, beautiful, sweet, meaty sunflower sprouts is 40 times more nutritious than eating the seed. And that is something that is done for free in your, kitchen on the windowsill. You can, really upgrade yourself, right, like that. And also, do not eat anti-nutrients. We didn't talk about the nutrition much, but there are things as nutrients and anti-nutrients. So nutrients is something that we need. Anti-nutrients is a substance that prevents us from absorbing the nutrients, or even robs us because we use up nutrients trying to throw them out. Like, for example, soybean is full of anti-nutrients. So unless it's fermented and organic, I wouldn't touch it with the stick, So most grains have phytic acids and lectins and, a lot of anti-nutrients that are neutralized by this techniques that I was talking about, the soaking and throwing the water full of anti-nutrients out, sprouting, fermenting. So these are the things that help you to get anti-nutrients out. Another class of anti-nutrients are additives. So when sugar is inside their fruit, when sugar is inside their vegetable, it's usually very harmless sugar. But when you take it out and you isolate it, it becomes a very strong anti-nutrient. In California, in Loma Linda University, they made just 100 grams of sugar will totally disrupt the white blood cell germ killing capacity for 5 hours. So you become like a helpless baby after eating something sweet. So that is an anti-nutrient that, and it is especially dangerous when it's liquid, and it's especially dangerous if it's fructose, because fructose is a type of sugar that only our liver can deal with. And so all this high fructose corn syrup or even just fruit juice can really disrupt our immune system. So other anti-nutrients are chemicals. Like everything that is sugar-free is usually full of aspartame and sweeteners that actually are known to cause obesity. People drink Diet Coke to lose weight, but they gain weight. And, it's known in all the laboratories, if you want to make a mouse fat, you feed it aspartame, you feed it, all this sucralose, like all this crap that, then is promoted for weight loss. So all the colors, flavors, all the things that are, and sometimes brain work less. Like, aspartame is in the class of excitotoxins, together with MSG, the glutamate, and some other substances that excite our brain to the point that they pop. So we have like fireworks and destroy our brain, eating isolated MSG. By the way, sugar inside the cell is good. It's acellular sugar that is not good. Same with MSG. The glutamate inside the seaweed, inside the original plant is totally fine. It actually creates a beautiful taste called umami. One of the things to incorporate and to upgrade your broths and soups is to get dashi powder, like in Sustaina on Soy 39. They have this dashi powder with the bonito fish and the shiitake and the ginger and like all the things that are full of natural glutamate that are very good for you. It's when you isolate it becomes a problem. So anti-nutrients out, nutrients in.
Yeah. All right. I think this is we are just on time, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Maybe if you want to say just a few words, Olga, before we wrap up.
Okay, well, it was nice talking to you guys, and I am happy that I had the opportunity to share. And I hope you got something healthy, longer, more resilient. And I'm happy to be a part of the Be Resilient group. I hope that we'll do more exchanges like this. I will learn from you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for all of us. Thank you very much, Olga, for taking the time and sharing that amazing knowledge and content with us. So we'll put your contact detail on the Facebook group as well. So if people want to contact you directly to ask for more advice. And yeah, so for those who haven't joined our group yet, so our group is Be Resilient on Facebook. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jerome, for your help.
Bye-bye.